Welcome to the Dice Tower, a series of videos about games and the people who play them. And now, here's your host, the wargame expert, Marco Arnaudo.
These days I'm out of town, I'm traveling to a conference, and when I go to things like this, I like to bring with me a light solitaire game that I can play when I'm at the airport waiting for flights, or sometimes at these big conferences you have an hour here, an hour there in your schedule between panels and events. So I like to have something I can just pull out of my bag, play it real quick, then wrap it up and I can go and do my next thing. The game I chose this time is Disaster on Everest, published by Victory Point Games. It is a solitaire game and the topic, as you can probably tell from the title, is extreme tourism. Here you will lead a exotic travel company and you will try to bring your clients to the top of Mount Everest and possibly also bring them back home alive and not having them eaten by the Yetis. Well, unfortunately there are no Yetis in the game, but I hope that they will add them to the expansion because that'd be pretty fun. However, well, let's take a look at the game. First, let's have a look at the components. You have, of course, a rulebook, which is very short. It is only one sheet of paper that is folded in two, so it's only 4 pages. Also, this last page is mainly advanced game rules and optional rules, so things that you do not need to get started with the game. And also, it's definitely not a hard book to read. You have a board where you will record which ones are your clients that make it to the Hillary step, which is an intermediate goal, so even if they don't make it any further, they'll still score you some points. You will record here which ones are the clients that make it to the summit, and also which ones are the ones that die horribly in a variety of ways, from freezing to death to being killed by an avalanche. There are sort of nasty things that can happen to them. Here you have the teams. There are 4 of them. Each team has 2 guides and 6 clients. Now, as you can see, these guides have special traits written there at the bottom, and different guides do have different traits. Also, the customers have different values, movement values, and in advanced games they also have different traits, abilities, powers, limitations. And when you add that to the thing, if you do play the advanced game and each client behaves different from the others, then actually that does add quite a bit of complexity. So you will choose your team at the beginning, and different teams do play differently. You do have to come up with a different strategy, especially to exploit the different skills of the guides, in the best way for you. So the game, at the beginning of the game, you start here from the high camp, and your goal is to guide your clients all the way up here. Then here you will have the Hillary step, which is this extra track just to make things a little harder for you. When the clients get here, they cannot just go up, they have to go through this track and they will need to roll a die to be able to advance, and there might be a little bit of a bottleneck situation created by other clients of yours or by other clients from the game, from the AI, not from you. They will just be there getting in the way on your clients. And then from there you might be able to reach the summit, which is of course not when the game is over, because, well, in a good travel agency is not good enough just to bring your customers there. You have to bring your clients back before it is too late. Also, you have, very important, a player aid, which is short, but it's really loaded with information. It tells you what the different guides can do. It tells you what the client's traits are, again, in the advanced game. But you can see there are quite a bit of them, and really, when each of them starts using one of these and you wanna use them at their best, really combine what they can do together so that, the powers of one make up for the weaknesses of the other, then it really can get it can get complex. Also, like in many other solitaire games, you will draw event tokens, which of course adds replayability, they add unpredictability, But again, as you can see, there are quite a bit of them, and you need to know, of course, what they do. So don't be discouraged. The first couple of games will feel longer than a game like this should. Probably they will be longer than they will be later, just because you have to refer to this player aid continuously. At least I had. But then you get to know what the tokens do, and so the game flows much better. And then, of course, you also have a player aid. In the player aid, you also have a victory chart, detailing the victory conditions. At the start of each turn, the first thing that you do is you draw an event token from this cup. Well, it can be another cup, but it's what it is that you use the tokens probably with the game. These tokens will give you a lot of information. Some will have good things happening, like you get oxygen tanks. Some might have negative things happening, but before you resolve them, you look at the number you see here at the bottom, and that indicates first, suppose I just got this one, 4, it indicates which of these spaces here, which of these ridges will be blocked. So in this case, the ridges with the number 4 on them will be blocked, and guides and customers and clients will not be able to go through that space for that turn. Also, that same number tells you where a client from another company is on the Hillary step. So in this case, I have a 4, I place a client from another company on the number 4, again, just so that they later will be in the way of my clients. Then, after you draw that, you have to choose what you want to do with these tokens, because you can choose to buy them, meaning you just pay the price that you see here so that the event happens, or just to discard them. And this is interesting. The way you buy it is by spending prestige points that you have here, which are a resource that is kind of like hard to replenish after you spend it. Of course, if you save it, then you can use it for the final score. But you're thinking, I'm sure you're thinking, why would I spend prestige? I understand spending prestige for oxygen tanks, but why would I want to spend some points to buy a broken rope that might kill one of my clients? Well, here's the thing. If the event happens, then you discard it for real. It just goes away. If you don't buy it, meaning if you don't make it happen, then you place it here on this track on the Storm Watch. Here's when the plot thickens, because you can avoid having events happen only for 6 times. So you see, you're building up this Storm Watch track, and when the track is full, then the following turn the storm hits, which means when that track is full, then the following turn you will start using the storm track. You will place the storm marker on it, and what the storm does is, the first thing is that there are severe limitations to the movement of your clients and of most of your guides, and also this countdown track, because you will move the marker once each turn, and that means that 10 turns after the storm hits, the game will be over. But it's finally time to move your team, and this is a sample situation that might happen in one of your games. The idea is that you have the option of moving your guides. Each guide moves up to his or her movement value, printed here in this corner. This guy has 6, and when they're moving, the guides basically can carry with them 1 client for 2 spaces. After that, they have to drop him off because the client gets tired. So for example, this is the situation. They start in the same space, so this guy can move 1 2 carrying the client, then he has to drop off the client, which is flipped to that side to show the client completed his movement, but he only moved 2, so he can move then 3, picks up another client, 4 5, then has to drop that client, and he still has 1. Suppose he wants to go back here just to then help that other guy. This is the basic idea. each guide moves one client for 2 spaces. However, different guides have different traits. So for example, this guy here in reality has a trait of fast, which means he can move a client up to 3 spaces, not 2. This other one has a trait of strong, which means he can move 2 clients at a time, not just 1. So if this is the case, he could do 1, 2, drops them off, 3, picks up this other guy, 4 and 5, drops him off, and this guy only has 5. Also, the clients can move by themselves up to the value printed on their counter, so some cannot move without the guys, some will move 1, some will move 2, and in each turn you can choose, you have 3 options to choose from. You can move your 2 guides with as many clients as you can, or you can move 1 guide, whichever, 1 guide and then move 2 clients independently from the guide, or you can just move 4 clients independently. And in different sections of the game, you will find yourself switching from one way of moving to the other. It's a very straightforward system, as you can see, but then it does have a lot of ways in which you can handle that and create different combinations of movements. It may take you a little bit just to master, to make sure that you don't leave people behind, or that your guides are just strategically placed so they can be very effective. Handling movement, it's fun. It's one of the most fun and I think, entertaining things of this game. I really like the way movement is designed. As a light solitaire game, I think Disaster on Everest is a good one. I like several things about it. I like the tokens, not just the fact that you have them, because you have those in many other games, but the fact that you can choose whether you want to activate them, you want to make them happen or not. And if you don't, they go on the storm watch. Because that really adds a dimension. I had to decide how you want to time the storm. When can you afford that to happen? And how many bad events can you afford to stand in order to delay the storm? And there will be a time where you have an event and you're looking at it like, I really don't want this event, but I don't want the storm either. And you have to choose one of the two. There's no way out. I like that. I like the replayability that comes from having different teams and different guides with different powers and abilities. I like movement. I think it's very well designed. It's just fun to execute. And actually, personally speaking, I like the basic game better than the advanced, precisely because the movement is simpler. It just keeps flowing. It's very smooth, and I'm sure that the advanced game gives you more challenges, more things to think about, but I just like the rhythm and the pace that comes from the basic game. And I like this game in its lightness. I don't personally feel that I want it to be any heavier in order to be better. I like it as is. So bottom line, precisely because it is so light, accessible, portable, and entertaining, I think this is a very good solitaire, and it has all the right things, all the qualities to be the perfect game to bring with you to a conference.
Tune into our next show for more Top 10 gaming goodness, or check out our website at www.thedicetower.com for more reviews and Top 10 lists. Until next time, I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.